Today, we're going to tear apart a modern fairy tale to get a look at a storytelling formula that has been hooking people for, well, centuries, the hero's journey. We're going to see how this ancient blueprint, the same one you'll find in epics like Star Wars or Harry Potter, brings a totally new story to life. So just think about this for a second. What if that shadow trailing behind you wasn't just, a silent follower? What if it had its own thoughts, its own feelings, its own dreams? This one little question is the key that unlocks the entire world we're about to jump into. Okay, so every single hero's journey has to start somewhere, right? It begins in what's called the ordinary world. You could call it the calm before the storm. And in our story, that world is this magical town with one very, very strange role. So welcome to the town of Galaxy, where the houses are built from marbles so polished they're basically mirrors. Now, here's the thing. In Galaxy, shadows aren't just mimics. They've got their own personalities, their own opinions, but they can't speak. Sounds kind of magical, right? Well, for our hero, it's more like a prison. At the very center of this whole story are two characters who are literally attached, but they couldn't be more different. We have Robbie, the human, and then we have the real hero of our story, his shadow. And this is where things get really interesting, because everything is flipped on its head. Robbie, the one who's supposed to be the person, is lazy, selfish, and just plain cruel. But his shadow, it's creative, it's eager to explore, it's kind. The true hero here isn't the man, but the silhouette he casts. And it all boils over with this one single, really cutting line from Robbie. He says this to his shadow in front of everyone, just to humiliate him and remind him that he's powerless. But this isn't just an insult. Oh no. This is the spark that's about to start a fire. And that nasty little moment? Well, in the hero's journey, that's what we call the call to adventure. It's the point of no return. It's that shove that pushes the hero out of their miserable, ordinary world and onto a brand new, terrifying path. So the call to adventure basically shatters the hero's world. It's a challenge that demands an answer. And in our story, the shadow's answer is, well, it's nothing short of revolutionary. He does something absolutely unthinkable. He just separates from Robbie. In the world of Galaxy, this has never, ever happened before. A shadow deciding to go it alone, it's a world-shattering act. He's totally rejected his old life and just stepped out into the great unknown. And this moment, man, it just perfectly captures how everyone felt. As our hero, the shadow, walks away, all the other shadows give him a silent applaud. You just know they've all felt that same oppression, and our guy is the first one to ever fight back. It's this beautiful validation of his incredibly brave move. So once he's free, the hero has to face tests, right? First up, he proves who he really is by shielding a sleeping pixie named Trinity from the hot sun for hours. As a reward, she gives him this amazing supernatural gift, a voice. But of course, this new power gets the attention of his enemy, Robbie, who uses a stolen spell to trap him in a jar. And that becomes the hero's first great trial. All right, this is it. We've reached the climax, what the famous mythologist Joseph Campbell called the supreme ordeal. This is the hero's darkest moment. It's where they have to face their greatest fear, maybe even death itself, and come out the other side, changed. Just when Robbie thinks he's got him, Trinity the Pixie shows up and frees the shadow. And as Robbie, in a total fit of rage, threatens the princess, the shadow steps in to protect her. And in that exact moment, the impossible happens. The shadow transforms into a human. And everyone is just left wondering, how is that even possible? Well, the magic isn't some hocus-pocus spell. It's a fundamental truth coming to light. And this, right here, this is the beating heart of the entire story. Being human isn't about having a body of flesh and blood. It's about what you do. And right there, in that one moment, the shadow proves he was more human than his actual human ever was. His courage, his kindness, his willingness to sacrifice himself, that's what earned him the form that Robbie was just, born with. It tells us that your actions, not your birthright, are what truly define you. So, the hero has made it through the fire, and he's not just going back to the way things were. He's returned to a new world, one that he helped build. So what's the big takeaway from this whole journey? The story completely redefines what being human is. It's not a biological fact, it's a moral achievement. It's having the guts to stand up for other people. It's showing kindness, even when you don't have to. It's speaking out when something is wrong and protecting the people you love. Our hero, the Shadow, he was all of those things. Robbie was none of them. And that's how it all wraps up. The villain, Robbie, gets arrested. The hero, now a full-fledged human, is rewarded with a new life with the princess he saved. See, he didn't just win some prize. He fundamentally changed his entire world and his place in it. And that leaves us with one last question to chew on. This story uses a fantastic, magical idea to ask something very, very real about us. If your shadow truly reflected who you are on the inside, your courage, your kindness, but also your selfishness or your laziness, what would people see? Something to think about.